This is my 1970 Mustang project car, a Facebook Marketplace special with more issues than I could possibly count. I ended up pulling the motor out without any idea how to fix anything and started rebuilding it in my apartment. So, what now? Well, we've made a lot of progress since then. We were able to get the block back to the shop and start assembly, starting with the heads. With the heads on, we were able to get a kickstart on the valve trains, starting with our rockers, push rods, lifters, and getting all of those torqued to spec correctly. But all of that's old news, so what are we doing today? Today, we are working on the engine again. Per last video, I happened to go back and do a little bit of research, and I am currently throwing preload on all of these rocker arms here. I had everything just at zero lash and didn't do any preload at all. I think that I'm just gonna go back and do that half turn, according to what I've seen on the internet. Hopefully when I start it up, I don't break 16 push rods. I've got my carburetor, fully rebuilt this last summer. I'm gonna go ahead, I've got the gaskets for that. Go ahead and put that back on. And then I think I'm going to tape off as much as I can of the engine and get it ready for paint before I leave today. I do have to still put on the water pump. Water pump still has to go on, as well as the fuel pump, as well as some other goodies here and there, distributor and whatnot. I do need to get the gaskets for those. I bought a set. I'm sure that they're hiding around here somewhere. I have like doubles of everything at this point in time. I end up buying something I see for the future, and then it hides in a corner until I actually need it, and then I buy it again. Anyways, I'm gonna dive right into the business here and see how that goes. Since the last video, we realized that we missed something critical, and that was our valve adjustments. We put absolutely no preload on any of the valves. That means that my first order of business was setting that preload. Now, luckily, we already had set everything to zero lash. Some people go anywhere from a quarter to a full turn, but this is just a junkyard engine build, and I don't really care about the details. After that, I went ahead and used the same old gasket from before. It's only been ran like twice. This is pretty self-explanatory through the carb on. 4 bolts, 4 nuts, and you're good to go. I think that's everything I need to do today for the carburetor. I'm gonna get it tightened down so that I don't have any vacuum leaks. And I'm gonna start covering everything up so that I can get a good fresh coat of paint on the block and the heads. So far, everything with this install has gone so smoothly, but you can't always count on everything going smooth. Which is, I got a new dipstick. Unfortunately, halfway through the process of removing it, with whatever cheap shit they had in it, I broke the sleeve and it is now on the inside of the timing cover. Halfway through, the tap and die actually broke on the inside. I don't know if that's the tap or the die, but you get the gist of it. Well, obviously that was a little bit of a setback, but with a few basic hand tools, we were able to get the rest of the tap out, which I did confirm it is a tap for anybody that wants to know. After that, we were able to get the rest of the sleeve out and install the brand new oil pickup. This was extremely annoying, and all I wanted to do was go home, but we had more stuff to do. I'm gonna go ahead and proceed and start putting some masking tape on this, getting it ready for paint. Gonna have to keep the timing cover on, as well as I'm just gonna keep everything on up top here and just cover it with some plastic or something. But planning on painting all of the heads and the block. And then I've got some of the other engine bay components, the battery tray, the hood lock, a stabilizing bar, the engine mounts. All of that needs to go back in, as well as all of the wire needs to be routed. So having all those parts ready is great, but now is the most opportune time to be able to paint the engine. I just got done doing a brand new rebuild on it. Brand new in quotation marks, obviously. So it was more than well deserving of a brand new coat of paint. But before we got around to painting it, we had to get around to masking it. Okay, I probably picked just about the worst day possible to be doing this. Super humid out, probably won't hear that well, but I'm on a timeline and I want to do this, so we're going to. I got here this amazing super high-tech spray booth. You know, it's just, there's not like 1,000 dust particles flowing through the air. It's gonna be perfect, you know? I hope this comes out good. Okay, I'm about dripping sweat from every crevice in my body. That's one coat down. Gonna give it a good hour considering how humid it is and hope that when I come back it's ready for another coat. In the meantime, I think I'll go and get started on that engine bay. Alright, I actually got a little bit excited here and threw a lot more stuff onto it because I wanted to see what it would look like. It's looking great. I think this is going to be awesome. I think it's going to turn out amazing. You saw me put some of the stuff in the engine bay, back around. A lot of it needs to be rerouted. I have no idea what half of these wires are. So this is going to be pretty intense trying to figure out what the hell to do in here. I took a lot of reference photos when I was doing this. They're all on my phone. I figured that I was going to need a little bit of help putting it back together beyond just guides on YouTube and other places. Because you never know, the person that put it together before me might have jerry-rigged it together. And if that wasn't the right way, but it worked, and when you put it back together the right way, it doesn't work, then it's super frustrating, so screw it. I'm just going to put it back together the way that I found it to the best of my abilities and hope that it starts. Alright, I ran into my first issue with wiring here. I'm trying to put everything, piece it back together. Unfortunately, it looks like when I took it apart, this piece broke, which it doesn't look too complicated. It just looks like these two wires splice into this one wire. I'm not exactly sure what for, but I'm gonna go ahead and at some point remember to try to splice these two into that one and this black wire into that black wire and call it a day there. I've got this very heavy and solid Borgeson power steering box. I went with this for remote power steering because my slave cylinder blew up, and every time I replaced another hose, more things blew up. So I bought this baby, and then the engine stopped working. I haven't really gotten to test it out all that well, but it seemed to work pretty decent. But there's one pretty big problem. I had to actually shim it out from the frame because it was making slight contact with it. So I'm gonna have to decide if I want to grind away part of the housing on the power steering box or a little bit of the frame. Either way, I don't think it's ideal, but we'll figure something out. Okay, this is taking way too long. I'm swearing way too much, but as you can see, it's making contact with the frame right there, and I'm not able to actually even thread these in properly without getting some washers. Because if I tighten it all the way down, it makes contact and doesn't sit right. And then it sits a little crooked. Well, I figured it out. I just had to force it all the way in with a bolt. Just kidding. I didn't. It still has a gap. But you know what? I almost lost my mind doing that. I'm not going to fret over it anymore. It is tight as can be. It's not going anywhere. Everything is spinning freely, so I don't really see a problem with it. It's not like it's going to be moving at the rotational speed that a drive shaft would. And you know, that off balance would mess it up. It's moving slow, so I think it should be okay for what it is. Well, with a little bit of frustration, we're able to check a ton of things off the list today. Between getting the engine painted, mocked up, and looking pretty close to complete, as well as tidying up the engine bay so that it's ready for the install of the engine and the transmission, I am confident that in the next video we can have everything fully installed and with our fingers crossed, hopefully running. This project is just getting started, and the fun part comes up next.